Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for the start of match play at the 2021 USBC Masters from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith, and folks, we are packed for the rest of the day. 3-game total pinfall matches to determine who's going to stay in the winner's bracket or who's going to have a long journey through the elimination bracket here today. I'm going to start in by bringing in the Bowl TV crew. We have Inside Bowling's Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas, both of them at the National Bowling Stadium, and Matt Cannizzaro joining me remotely as well from Texas. Gentlemen, 3 exciting days of qualifying, 15 games for all competitors in the books. What are we looking forward to today with these matches as we get into the craziness? Mike, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we got a hell of a featured matchup to start the morning between Kyle Troop and EJ Tackett. I don't know how these guys got matched up together, but they did. That's the luck of the draw in the bracket. And we've got some other tremendous matches as well. What everybody at home needs to keep in mind, we've got one half of the bracket here right now, and then we have the other half of the bracket coming up in a couple hours.
JT, a lot of excitement. I know you're looking forward to this. We're expecting the scoring pace to pick up. What are you excited about today?
I'm excited about craziness. There are so many cool things that are going to happen. I want to see if Nick Hoagland's prediction of somebody bowling an 800 on a pattern that we saw basically nobody shoot more than 150 over just one block, I believe, for the whole tournament, 5 games of someone averaging 230. Nick Hoagland said expect that to turn around today and see some high scores. But there will also be some low-scoring matches. But it was very cool to see 2 of the biggest stars on the PBA tour last night sneak into the cut. Jason Belmonte, who's bowling at noon today, and Kyle Troop, who we're watching here. And this match here that we're watching has huge Player of the Year implications. EJ Tackett, one of the players who is chasing Kyle Troop, and now he's going to get a chance to send him immediately into the losers bracket right here out of the gate in the match play portion of the tournament.
All right, Matty Cannizzaro, I know you love the Masters. I've been covering it for a long time. What are the big things about day one that these competitors have to be thinking about?
Well, of course, it's a whole new mindset, right? The ultimate goal for the first part of the week was just to get into the top 64. No matter where you finished, second, 62nd, it didn't matter at that point. Just get in. Now a whole new strategy, a new game plan. It's you and your opponent on that pair of lanes. Anything can happen. We've got amateurs, professionals, Hall of Famers, unknowns. Somebody's going to make a name for themselves potentially this week. That's the excitement of it. So I know we're going to see some great scores. We're going to see some struggles and low-scoring wins. That's all part of the excitement and the drama.
Cats and dogs living together. It's mass hysteria.
All right, there you go. There you go. We got the Ghostbusters reference in early today, folks. I like it. Energy we needed. Once again, 15 games of qualifying over the course of 3 days to determine these 64 competitors joining defending champion Jacob Buttriff. Right here on Bowl TV, as you know, we have multiple channels available. So even though we're watching these matches here on the high end of the house, you do have access from matches from 39 all the way to 72, technically 73, 74 here. So we got a little bonus coverage for you. But the available matches to watch right now on the 39 to 42 channel, we have top seed Gary Faulkner Jr. taking on Chris Martinez, who's the last player in at minus 51. On 45 through 48, Anthony Simonson, the 2016 champ, taking on Michael Tang. On 49 through 52, Pontus Anderson versus Dom Barrett. A great matchup right there. We keep them coming, folks. On 53 through 56, Zach Tackett versus Jesper Svensson. On 57 to 60, 2018 champion Andrew Anderson. A lot of folks reminiscing about Syracuse and how tough it was. Andrew won that event, taking on Callum Borick on 57-60. On 61 through 64, another primetime matchup, Nick Pate taking on the real deal Bill O'Neill. We had Bill join us in the booth last night as he waited to see if his score was enough. It was. And here he is bowling. Wes Malott taking on Toby Sambueno on lanes 65 through 68. And finally here on our expanded 69 to 72, it's actually 69 to 74 here. To your left, we have USBC Hall of Famer Steve Klompkin taking on Brian Robinson. Steve also advanced to the TV show in Syracuse, so we'll see if he can continue another great run here. And then kind of the premier matchup, looking at the bracket, and you're always going to have great matchups in the bracket, but as JT pointed out, huge implications here. EJ Tackett, Kyle Troop to your right.
I got some insight on this match, guys, the Troop Tackett match. I was down there watching him practice, and I was talking with Tim Mack. And it looked like in practice the strategy was EJ Tackett was going to hook the lane with resin, and Kyle Troop was going to throw urethane from out. But Timmy and I were just talking. He stopped by the booth. Kyle is using reactive with a bit of a straighter angle to the pocket. EJ, of course, trying to open up the pattern a little bit. That's where both guys have had most of their success here through their 15 games of qualifying. So two guys not playing on top of each other, playing two completely different parts of the lanes, similar break points. Be interesting to see how it plays out on both sides and how things will change throughout the match. But early on, EJ looks like he's got a really nice ball reaction coming off the spot.
Yeah, EJ has really had a nice look all week from in, and Kyle's really kind of fought it all week, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Obviously, Kyle is capable of doing what EJ is doing, but it's not something he's really done all week long. But EJ may force him if he keeps throwing strikes here in the early going.
And next door, we got Steve Klemkin, who was my amateur pick of the week. We picked amateur players on day one. I believe it was during practice, which was kind of a fun thing that we did as commentators to keep things a little interesting for us. And Klemkin making it into the bracket. And he's taking on Brian Robinson. And I talked about this as well throughout the week here. Brian Robinson used to throw it with one hand. And he had an injury, and he decided he would start throwing it with two hands. And he's been throwing it with two hands for about 4 years now. And he always shows up at the Masters, and he's made the bracket a few times now. So pretty cool story from Brian. It'll be fun to watch that match on the left side of your screen while we're watching the two superstars over here on the right that we all know that are household names.
Mike, I think
EJ almost just went 4 out, guys.
Yeah, tough 4-2, and Steve's essentially looking at the same leave here. And those guys playing completely different styles, but that's the nature of this pattern here, and you pay the price if you miss. As far as the amateur competition goes between the Bull TV crew, each of us has a guy in the field. So JT going young with Spencer Robarge. I picked Cameron Crowe. Matty C with Cortez Shank. So all 4 guys in the bracket. So we'll continue to have that fun. And then, of course, the showdown of giants. Norm Duke and Chris Barnes for JT and Flanagan.
Yeah, it's nice.
Both making it.
Nothing is settled. Nothing is settled yet. Got a lot of fun stuff going on.
Well, I think it just speaks to our expertise in knowing what's going to happen and forecasting. We're really good at forecasting.
That's why we're the best.
It just means more opportunity to talk junk as we continue to go on, which I'm all about. All right, folks, as we mentioned, the pairs being covered right now on bulltv.com. If you want to follow other scores, we certainly suggest you use the live scoring app. Very helpful to see matches across the 78-lane bowling center. Once again, the National Bowling Stadium. 78 lanes of pure glory and bowling bedlam as we get into match play competition today. This is the left side of the winners bracket, so split into 2 sides, 32 players on the lanes competing right now. And after we finish up, we'll adjust some cameras, and the right side of the bracket will be on the lanes competing. So that's going to be about 2 hours from now. They'll get underway after all these 3-game total pinfall matches wrap up.
And if you've been hidden under a rock, it was minus 51 to make it into the top 64. We know for sure it's one of the lowest scoring Masters of all time, but certainly the lowest scoring Masters that we've seen that we can remember back. Tommy Jones just missing the cut line. He finished minus 53 along with Anthony Stewart, but I watched Tommy Jones throw his last ball yesterday, and he's 7-10 in the pocket on his fill shot.
Oh, my.
To be at minus 53. If he strikes on that ball, we would have had a roll-off last night, but instead, Tommy Jones, his week is done.
It was pretty crazy watching all break down toward the end of the block. Obviously, early on, the excitement was surrounded, or our excitement at least, seeing the path of Jason Belmonte, the 4-time champion, as he struggled through the first 4 games and then put together a monster effort. And then a similar situation, they split in the 10th frame, all of a sudden made what could have been a pretty easy rest of the day, potentially a little stressful for the Australian two-hander. Bill O'Neill, in similar fashion, big final game to potentially get a little more comfortable in there, but still waiting it out as we had him on the broadcast late last night. And then for Kyle Troop, found himself even a little bit farther back than Belmo, but saw the number come back to him and get Michael Tang in there as well.
Yeah, just to tell you how tight the standings were, 15 players missed by 25 pins or less. 27 players missed by 50 or less.
Definitely something to expect with a lower scoring pace, and I mean we were getting excited as we had the lone 300 in qualifying shot in game 14 last night. That was Dale Coffey, who was minus 203 to get to minus 103, and he started with the front 4 the next game. And all of a sudden, we were talking about that as still in the number. Imagine being minus 203 with 2 to go at the Masters. Roll 300 and still have a chance to get into the number. It would have been crazy if it would have come through. Dale falling into that range, tied for 78th at minus 76. So just 25 pins back after all that.
Back-to-back big 4s for Kyle Troop. I think we're going to see him jump left after EJ finishes his 9th frame. But EJ looks like he's got a great look, just the one miscue with the 4 count through the nose. And a possible big game to start here for EJ. And Kyle, he's going to be forced to make a move. I think he's close. He's close. Those 2 big 4s he left were actually pretty good shots, but I think we're going to see him jump a little left and get basically right on top of where EJ is.
These are 3-game total matches. Total pinfall. Some people believe it's best 2 out of 3. I've had people tell me that in the past, but it's total pins.
Wow, he he thought that was going to be 4 through the nose, and now it holds. So EJ opening up a little bit of room, and maybe what Nick Hoagland said last night is coming to fruition. Let's see if Kyle makes a move here after those back-to-back big 4s. Couldn't really tell on that shot if he had just moved in a little bit or moved his eyes a little right. but he'll take the strike. We'll be able to tell a lot better on 73. Big 10th frame here for Kyle to try to bail this game out, not get too far behind EJ. He definitely moved left, and that was a great move. This could be an interesting one, guys. These two are right on top of each other now, and we'll see how they break down. We really haven't seen players get to bowl multiple games in a row on the same pair, and with nobody throwing urethane and dragging oil down, and these guys play in the middle part of the lane. Let's see if they can create a little bit of room from in, and if they do, the players that are coming up at noon, you may revise their strategies a bit. Right over fourth arrow, and Kyle Troop bails this game out.
It's 186 for Kyle. Huge four-bagger, JT. You were after those splits in the 7th and the 8th. Once again, the total pinfall portion of it, yeah. You can't go fishing necessarily when, a match is essentially, or when you look at best of 7, best of 5, whatever it may be. If you're getting, if you're not going to win, you have the opportunity to try a few things. You got to be smarter about those decisions here in this format. You can't necessarily give away pins knowing that you might have to find a way to make up 30, 40, 50 in the next 2 games. Wow. That's a big swing right there. 211. And that's the swing of the Masters right there, folks.
Yeah, what looked like was going to be a big lead coming out of game number 1 here for EJ. A lot can happen there in the 10th frame. You got a triple up there for Kyle, open frame for EJ. So much closer than what that was looking like it was going to be for sure.
Yeah, that could have been a 60-pin lead. Now it's just a 25-pin lead, so that's a big difference. Plus, Kyle's got momentum with the adjustment that he made. Plumpkin missing on a 10-pin. That's something you maybe see that once every 4 years or so.
Robinson takes advantage with a 3-bagger. Let's head over to another pair real quick. We got Bill O'Neill and Nick Pate both striking a bit heading into the 10th frame. O'Neill max of 237, and for Nick Pate, 229 still out there. The Taka Troop match, one of the faster ones across the house here.
Yeah, they don't have anybody to their right, so and they do get up there and they do whip it pretty quick up there. Not very methodical in either player's demeanor. We see Bill O'Neill with what we call the PBA washout, the 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. And that's textbook way to pick that up. He talked about yesterday, he really didn't bowl well in this event. And he was fighting a timing issue where at the bottom of the swing, he had a tendency to miss to the right. And at other times, the timing of his swing also, he would come around the ball a little bit at the bottom, which would cause also to come in light. He said he left more head pin combinations the last 3 days than what he has left all year. So he went and practiced yesterday afternoon at a local bowling center and sent video to his father, who's his coach, and they worked on a couple of things. So O'Neill with a good shot there on the fill, but we did see another miss the head pin to the right situation here. So it'll be interesting to watch O'Neill's timing throughout this match and see if he can get things corrected to where he makes less errant shots. But he's going to have his hands full against Nick Pate. Nick bowled extremely well the last 3 days, and we probably didn't talk about him enough.
Nick qualified 12th overall, plus 129 steady sets, 1,006, 1,046, and 1,077. So he got stronger every day, but with that, he's going to be down after game number 1. 4, 7, 9, 10.
I believe they call that grandma's teeth.
I believe I've heard that used before as well. .212, 193 advantage. Bill O'Neill, let's head back to the high end of the house. Klumpkin and Robinson still in game 1. EJ and Kyle not wasting any time here. At this rate, they're going to make this a single shot for us in about a half hour.
You know, I will say that, Kyle just snuck into this cut, and he hasn't looked comfortable at all, really, this week. His demeanor overall just played tricks on him here. But, that doesn't mean anything. You get a win under your belt this morning over EJ Tackett, and you start to feel a lot better. And he's had reps surrounding him because they know how important this event is for him heading into the U.S. Open with all the Player of the Year implications, as we talked about at the top of the show.
Once 174 finish for Steve. 225 still out there for Brian, working on 3 in a row. The 10th frame has not been kind, folks. That's another split we've seen here.
Peekaboo.
Just wanted to join back with you guys.
We're glad you're back.
Well, thank you. Made a few little camera tweaks. But yeah, this is a fascinating match. I mean, like you guys said, Kyle really only had one good day, which was day 2, and yesterday was pretty much a struggle all the way through. And he showed a lot of moxie the last couple of games, just hanging in there to grind his way into the cut. Had to sweat it out the rest of the evening. Ended up sneaking in, and his reward is to get to bowl one of the players that he's fighting with for Player of the Year.
Certainly one of the fun things for us on the Bowl TV side and the media side is to take a look at those. Okay, where are the matchups we want to watch at? So this one's certainly a premier match, but yeah, it's never a fun draw when you catch one of those breaks at the Masters, and that's nature of the beast, of course, but.
In other news, Zeke Bate bowled 201, Francois Lavoie 184 down on lanes 11 and 12. Michael Martell had 190. Michael Fitzgerald 164.
My guess is this match we're watching now, 73 and 74, Kyle Troup and EJ Tackett, they're not going to get easier as this match goes on because of the way these guys are playing the lanes. I think this is going to turn into a grind fest, which is interesting. And I think it's probably exactly what Kyle Troup would prefer, given that he's really hasn't had a great look all week. EJ Tackett has had a good look at various points throughout the week. So in my mind, this starts to favor Kyle. And Kyle is also one of the most underrated players at making splits. If you remember, just recently, he went up the stepladder by basically converting a bunch of very, very difficult splits. And so if it comes down to a match of making a 210 or a 3-6-7-10 at a key moment, you got to give the upper hand to Kyle. Although EJ's also been known to make some nasty splits in his day as well. So this is really going to be an epic match, I believe.
Another score update: Mitch Houpe 213, Matt Russo 197 over on 37 and 38.
Mike, I'll continue on for you here for our featured pairs. Gary Faulkner up 192 to 182 over Chris Martinez. Simonson 235 to 206 advantage after one against Michael Tang. Don Barrett 203 to 175 ahead of Pontus Anderson. Jesper Svensson 199. Zach Tackett 178 on 53 through 56. Andrew Anderson 213 to 194 lead over Callum Bork. We watched the end of O'Neill and Pate 212 to 193. 65 through 68, close one. Wes Malott 170, Toby Sambuena 168, and then we saw another swing there on 69 and 70. Brian Robinson with that split in the 10th could have shot 225. All of a sudden turns into 186 and just a 12-pin lead over Steve Klompkin, who finished with 174.
It's a great ball change by Kyle Troup. He threw a double. EJ threw that one out the window. And this match is tightening up, fellas. EJ's like, why can you not throw it that way on 74? If only it were that easy.
It's amazing watching his bowling ball hook when he executes a good shot. He makes it almost look like a house shot. We know that it isn't, but he almost makes it look like a house shot the way that he's hooking it. And EJ had a 10-bagger earlier this week.
Oh! That's really been Kyle's struggle all week. He's been able to control the pocket, but he's not getting those half pocket hits to fall like he normally would. And that's what you need to extend those doubles into 5 and 6 baggers, which give you all those extra pins. And I think that's really the difference between EJ's week and Kyle's week thus far. Sweet shot there. But yeah, you see him dejected. He's thinking, gosh, if that 10 pin just carries, I'm right in this match. It's basically even. See if EJ makes a better shot here. Yeah, that's about as good of a shot as you can throw. Just when EJ is on and he's got a look that he likes, I don't know if there's any player on tour whose ball goes through the pins more effectively than EJ Tackett. It's like the ball has a vacuum on the front end that just sucks the pins back into the deck.
I believe they call that entry angle.
Yeah, his is pretty fantastic.
You see the 4.8 there to start the 10th frame for EJ. With the spare, his max now 217. That would put him at 428 for his first two.
But, again, if he could finish off that, it could have finished off game 1 and game 2 in the 10th with something big. He'd have a huge lead at this point. And spares the 4.8.
That's not particularly a fun one to shoot at either.
Not very choppable, but good technique there for the way he shot it. Just went up the left edge, tried to minimize the chances of chopping.
So Kyle will have the opportunity to step up here in the 10th. He can still get to 221 with all three to gain a couple pins. But still going to be facing a deficit, as that'll be 8 count, 215. So 426 for 2 for EJ. Kyle can get to 407 with all three.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I mean, the mentality here for both players. If Kyle can finish this game off, let's see what he does here. Beautiful shot. If Kyle can finish this game off, it's kind of like being out. If you're a football team, you're completely outplayed in the first half, and you go into the locker room at halftime down by 3 points. It's got to be encouraging, because you say, man, I haven't bowled great. I've been close. I do have a good look now, but this guy's basically out-bowled me. He's had a better look than me all week, but I'm still within striking distance. Basically, just one open frame by EJ and one double by me, and I'm leading the match. So I think if Kyle can strike, which he did, and you see the fist pump there, he's going to be feeling pretty darn good going into game 3.
Huge double right there. And we have a great question in the chat from Trey, asking about do we have any giveaways today? And an excellent question, and we do. Over the course of today, we have 2, not 1, but 2 Ultimate Ears speakers to give away for you good folks watching on bowltv.com. So, of course, we will give you the prompt for those over the course of the day, but it's a little bit too early. We got to get some matches. We got to get the flow going here, but we will be ready for those coming up a little bit later today. 220 for Kyle, 406 for him. So he's down 20 heading into the final game.
And again, I think he's got to be very happy with that. Very happy with where he is, because if EJ had been able to kind of finish off those first 2 games with strikes, he'd be down 60 or 70.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I thought the football reference you made was spot on. And as a Chicago Bears fan, I'm used to that feeling very much so. Happy only to be down by 10 most halves. But agreed, yeah. Kyle's had some big 10th frames here to put himself in position. Over to our left, a very uncharacteristic game so far from Steve Plomkin. So I'm curious to see what he's going to try to do the rest of the way, because he's potentially going to, he cut some breaks at the end there to have the match within reach, but he's got 3 opens here, and Brian Robinson is starting to look pretty good.
Just a reminder, too, to everybody, this is a double elimination bracket. So both EJ and Kyle will still have tournament life. One will advance to the winner's bracket. One will advance, or move, I should say, move
Wow.
to the loser's bracket.
That's a big mistake there. Yeah, you really don't want to lose this first match because I think I've only seen one or two players ever in the history of this tournament make the show after losing their first match. It's a pretty rare occurrence. I'm sure it's happened more often than that, but boy, it is a lot of bowling and Kyle off to a really bad start here. Not what he was hoping for. Absolutely, for sure. And I'll tell you, I think, you really only have about 5 shots. When you get lined up, you've only got about 5 shots at the most on that line before you've got to move. And these guys are playing right on top of each other. I think Kyle just might have missed a move there. Those shots both look pretty good. One was a 4-pin. One was not even a super high big 4. But EJ looks like he's staying ahead of the move. And he's off to a quick start with a double, and now has a huge lead with just 8 frames left in the match. Wow. Just putting the pedal to the metal. And now Kyle's really in an early must-strike situation. Yeah, his line's burned up. He needs to make the move. And I don't know if that ball, even if he moves left with that ball, I think he flat 10s. I think that ball's done. So I would expect to see a ball change here, basically with nothing left to lose at this point.
Andrew Anderson is going to go into game 3 with a sizable lead over Callum Bork. 213 and 233 out of the gates with the 2018 champ. He's at 446. Callum's going to be in the 370s.
What they used to sing on Monday Night Football, guys? Turn out the lights, the party's over.
Was that Monday Night Football?
Long time ago.
I was going to say that doesn't sound like a Hank Williams song to me.
This is the Don Meredith, Howard Cosell days. Whereas Chick Hearn used to say, the Lakers' famous broadcaster, this one's in the refrigerator. The door is closed. The light is out. The butter's getting hard. The eggs are cooling and the jello's jiggling.
And all my rowdy friends are here for what is today? It's Friday morning. You really don't know what day it is when you're in here.
It is Good Friday. And I'll tell you, this was a tight match going into the start of game 3, but Kyle throws those 2 open frames, and EJ just gets loose as a goose, and now it's over.
Unrelated, we talked about the speed that these guys are bowling at. They actually might be done with 3 games before some of our pairs are done with 2. They are flying through this game with reckless abandon. Everybody follow this. We love this pace.
Anthony Simonson bowled 235 and 227, which is, it's huge scores right now. And Michael Tang's kind of hanging with them here. He bowled 206. He just left a 210 in a 10th frame over on lanes 45 and 46. He's going to be in the 220s here, but still not out of it. Michael Tang's, his scores, many of these other pairs would love to take his scores.
Yeah, 206 game 1 for Michael, and then
223 second game.
So 462 to 429. So certainly we have seen crazier happen. But Simo up heading into the finale.
Looks like Mitch Houpe is going to extend his lead over Matt Russo. Houpe 213, 219, sits at 432. Russo's up in the 10th right now. It's going to be around the 400 number.
Only thing left in this match is whether EJ shoots 300, and proves me wrong that I thought they might get a little ugly, but they are not.
Potentially just some frustration there from Kyle. That looked like just trying to get this one over with.
I do think he learned a little something though from this match. I mean, he's got a long road ahead of him now, but I think he learned a little something. He's kind of done that all week, sticking it on his spare leaves. We saw him actually stick and miss a 10 pin with a foul. He actually spared it, but fouled, and it just hasn't been comfortable all week. Oh wow. Nasty stone 9 to stop the 300 game from happening. But these matches both look pretty well in hand. Mr. Smith, if we want to switch to something else.
Yeah, let's head back to the pair we took a look at a little bit earlier. Nick Pate finishes up 168.
Yeah, really surprising out of Pate. I'm really surprised to see this.
Chance for Bill to get to 218 here, so he was up by 19 heading into this game. All right, with that, folks, official tally, the first one in the books, EJ Tackett moving on to the second round of the winners bracket, 254 to 173, that final game for a 680 to 579 win over Kyle Troop. We are 419 to 361 here on lane 61 and 62. With Nick taking a refresh there. .45 and 46. Michael Tang, Anthony Simonson, 462 to 429. Advantage Simo. Both players now with an early open. Tang has gained 11 pins so far in the first 3 frames.
Both players wearing purple jerseys as well.
That purple jersey energy. All right, some additional updates from our featured pairs across 8 channels here on BullTV.com. Brian Robinson up 415 to 356 over Steve Klumpkin. Wes Malott 370 to 360 ahead of Toby Sambueno. Bill O'Neill 419 to 361 advantage over Nick Pate. Andrew Anderson 446 to 370 advantage over Callum Bork. Jesper Svensson up 393 to 356 against Zach Tackett. Pontus Anderson made a nice little comeback in game 2. Shot 223. He's now at 398 ahead of Dom Barrett, who went the other way, shot 161. The Dominator at 364. This match, as we mentioned, Simonson up 462 to 429. And then Gary Faulkner and Chris Martinez are still in game 2. And for Faulkner, the overall tournament leader, having some struggles here in game 2, can max out at 168 with the 10th frame left to go. He led by 10 after game number 1, so it looks like Chris Martinez, who patiently waited for the number to come back to him at minus 51, very likely could have the lead against the top overall seed. Looks like Mitch Hoope up 466 to 423 ahead of Matt Russo. Spencer Robarge up 359 to 317 over Barry Slater. Anthony Lavery Spar 420 to 406 ahead of Ildemaro Ruiz. Francois Lavoie up 429 to 404 against Zeke Bate. Kim Bolabai 412. Darren Tang 392. Michael Holloman is going to be down. They still have a Todd Kiersey-Sipes still has a 10th frame to go, but he's already ahead. So he can have nearly a 40-pin lead. He's able to strike out. Michael Fitzgerald is going to have the advantage over Michael Martell. They're still wrapping up game number 2 as well.
Michael Tang now has a double put together here. You know, it was really kind of interesting yesterday when I talked to Michael Tang after he completed his block, and he finished at minus 41. And I really didn't think at that point that was going to be the number. I thought he was on the outside looking in. But he said, I think I got a chance at this. And he made it in, almost soft. I mean, by 10 pins at 41. So he was kind of living on a prayer and got one. And he's given Simo all he can handle here.
Michael, the fact that you didn't sing that and get some Bon Jovi going early here in day one of match play, disappointed, but we have time to make that up. So,
well, we're not quite halfway there. So,
update on Faulkner and Martinez. Gary was able to throw a double in the 10th, so it's going to be close, but Martinez has the advantage, 361 to 358. Chris was working on a strike and opened the 10th frame, so he gave away some valuable pins there as well.
I really thought there, through 2 days of qualifying, that we were going to see possibly Gary Faulkner having to bowl Jacob Buttriff in the first round. Buttriff, of course, the defending champion.
He was on the outside looking in for quite a bit there.
He was in 80th position going into yesterday. All right, so what do we got here score-wise, Aaron? How do you call this one?
This particular match right here?
Yeah, what do you see?
Well, Michael so far has shown the ability to throw a couple doubles. Anthony, just the one strike so far. I don't think Anthony can spare this game out and get the win. So
Simo's looking a little fried over that 10 pin too, by the way, that he just left. And that one sprayed way to the right.
I mean, with the spare here from Anthony, this is essentially looking the way the scores are adding up. This is less than 10 pins right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing 8 pins.
So, Michael, I know you're a wrestling fan. If Michael Tang delivers a strike here, are we going to hear the Stone Cold breaking glass and Jim Ross just yelling? Good gosh, that's Michael Tang's music.
Looks pretty good.
Oh,
wow.
Chair to the back with the 4-9. Wow.
You go for count here, right?
Go for it.
You go for it, JT?
Oh, yeah. That would be a backbreaker. Isn't that a wrestling move also?
It is. You guys are doing well this morning.
All right, looking at max scores now. With that open, Michael Tang can still get to 221. Anthony Simonson has 209 still out there, but hasn't struck since the second frame. Simo pacing 179 at the moment. I mean, if Michael can shake that one off quick, put a strike here. Simo's got some big shots coming up.
Wow, that was a good shot.
Well, the pictures on your screen continue to reinforce just how difficult this oil pattern is.
We're going to have another match in the books here. Andrew Anderson, just a matter of final score now, is going to win his opening match against Callum Bork. Spencer Robars with an early four-bagger against Barry Slater, so he's already up in that match. Pontus Anderson, front five. Don Barrett is not having fun on 49 and 50. Looks like Pontus is going to be in position to advance in a couple frames here.
So Simonson's got a real opportunity here to just take control of the match. And it looks as though he doesn't like something with that rack. So he's going to take a re-rack here.
I talked to him earlier this week, and he said he's very particular about the racks. And he said when he's throwing urethane, maybe even a little more particular, but he said he looks at the rack every time. And if there's something a little off, he will not be shy about taking a re-rack.
Eighth frame, Simo has not struck since frame 2. That looked like a ball change, too.
Good shot.
Pretty good. Oh, swept
And
the 10 pin off there, so we're
it
gonna
counted it as a strike after the re-rack. .640 to 559. Andrew Anderson, final score in his victory over Callum Bork. Looks like Jesper Svensson in position to send Zach Tackett to the elimination bracket. So it appears both Tackett brothers not advancing in the winner's bracket. EJ collected the win over Kyle Troop. But Zach would need a lot of help here in the final couple of frames against Jesper.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the left side of the winner's bracket. Coming up here in just about an hour, we'll have the right side of the bracket for you. Opening round matches here from National Bowling Stadium here in Reno, Nevada.
All right, big shot here coming up for Anthony Simonson, trying to set up the 10th frame. If he can strike here, he could still go off the sheet for 198.
Big shot sets up a lot of possibilities here for Simo. Michael Tang, max score of 211.
Landy's going to make a ball change, guys. Wow. That's a gutsy ball change with just 2 frames left to go.
Well, if you look at it, if he gets to... Well, let's watch it first here.
Well, that's got to get back.
Oh,
Great ball change. Had to commit to it, and he did. He can still shoot 211. That would put him at 650.
if he strikes out, that would be 640, I believe. 640 his max.
640, correct.
If that's the case, if Simonson goes spare strike, we'd be tied at 640.
So huge shot coming up here for
So
Michael.
Anthony, regardless, will have an opportunity to throw the first strike and win, but Michael can put on a ton of pressure. And that hit that same spot down lane that we saw last time.
Is that back-to-back 2-8s?
And, different ball, same result. It was a good shot. I think he liked it. It just was an educated guess, and he thought that making that ball change might get the ball through the spot and save a little energy, but not quite enough to get the ball back. So Simo will basically just need to show up, and he'll move on in the winner's bracket. Yep, that'll do it.
179 for 608. Pontus Anderson is going to win against Dom Barrett. Jesper Svensson has collected the victory against Zach Tackett. Brian Robinson still with a very comfortable lead against Steve Klemkin. Bill O'Neill is going to take the win here. So most of the matches we have featured are in the books. I think 41 and 42 might be the best spot to head to next, as they still got a couple games. Chris Martinez and Gary Faulkner Jr. That was a 3-pin match heading into the final game, and both players picking up the pace after a relatively slow start.
Hey, Aaron, what about 65 and 66 here?
It's going to get a little bit closer now, it appears. Let's
I've got it up here.
Let's get it. This one's over.
Thought we might have some drama there. Wes Malott not having the game he's looking for at all.
Well, this was only a 10-pin match heading into the final frame, so it was Malott up. He's got 148 in the ninth after a pair of splits in the 8th and the 9th frame. Toby Sambueno, that appears to be a 3-4-7. So this one might be, this could be a huge conversion. Oh, in front of it. Goodness.
So I've got this as a two-pin match currently right now.
2 pins. Sambueno up 2, can step up here in the 10th frame. 9-9, winner.
We've got EJ Tackett standing by. We'll bring him in just a moment as soon as we have the conclusion of this match. So I appreciate you hanging out with us, EJ. We see you over there.
No problem.
There's the first one.
One more strike, 9 pins. That's a shutout.
Looking to take down the big nasty, Wes Malott, who joined us last night for a little bit here in the booth. I would call this an upset. It is still March, right? No, it's not. It's April. April Fools. That was yesterday. You should feel pretty fortunate too, Aaron. I didn't pull any April Fool's jokes on you yesterday on the air.
I was able to pull one on myself, so that worked out well with the sound issue we had. So
Yeah, Belmo got you the day before, so I figured he took care of it. Here we go, a chance to lock it up here and advance.
oh, from way downtown.
Clutch. Now that doesn't mean he's done it, folks. He's got to get
Needs
9. Yep.
Some final scores as we wait for this moment. Simonson 659 to 608 over Tang. Pontus Anderson 623 to 529 over Don Barrett. 597 556 Jesper Svensson over Zach Tackett. Bill O'Neill 610 to 552 over Nick Pate. Matter of final score, but Brian Robinson's going to get the win. Against Steve Klompen. Here it is, 9 for the win. 7.
7 opens the door.
A few other quick updates here. Zeke Bate with the win over Francois Lavoie. 6:15, or enough for Zeke to get the win. Spencer Robarge is going to get the W against Barry Slater.
Yeah, it looks like 615 to 584 Zeke over Frankie. That's an upset as well.
Houpe is going to get the win against Russo. Must strike situation for Malott here. Anything less? Toby gets the win, and 4-pin. Toby Sambueno.
A lot of drama here at the Masters. But I'll tell you what, we didn't have much drama was this featured matchup between EJ Tackett and Kyle Troop just a little bit ago. And these guys were some speedsters out there. They got done when everybody else was just starting their third game. So I think this is a good opportunity to bring in EJ Tackett now.
How you doing?
We're doing well, but I think you're doing better, aren't you, EJ?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. Showed up and did what I had to do today. You got to try to get off to a good start. I made a couple of mistakes. The first game I opened in the 10th. I had 4-2 in the middle of the game, and I was kind of beating myself up a little bit because Kyle Troop's not really one that you can give any hope to. I've seen it time and time again where you give him an inch and he takes full advantage of it. So I was kind of kicking myself for even giving him that much life. And going to the last game, I knew I needed to apply some pressure, and I made a ball change, and worked out. I started with the front 5 or 6, I think, and Kyle struggled at the beginning of the game, and by the middle of the game, it was basically over. But even going in the last game, I think I had about a 20-pin lead, which is that can be erased very quickly. So I wasn't celebrating too fast, even after I had the first 5 or 6. After Kyle missed a couple more times, and I was able to okay, we got this one.
Now we're watching 41 and 42 here, and Chris Martinez on the verge of upsetting top overall seed Gary Faulkner Jr. A chance to still shoot 270 this game. He was up 3 as we get into Faulkner's 10th frame. But EJ, tell us a little bit about how different the strategy was, knowing you got to sit on the same pair for 3 games. JT, I kind of talked about, thought it might get a little tricky there toward the end, but you opened them up and put together a huge last game on the way to the victory. So how is it a little different today, being able to stay on the same pair and see it develop over the course of a couple games?
Yeah, I mean, we get practice. We got 15 minutes practice all week, but we had to split that up in between 2 pairs. So getting all 15 minutes on the same pair was huge. And the way I was able to break the lanes down, I took I had a couple of bowling balls. I got really big covers on them, and they like to eat the oil off the lane. And I sanded them up a little bit, and just pretty much for about 10 or 12 minutes, I just threw them in an area on the lane, just trying to get as much oil off the lane as possible. And then, last 4 or 5 minutes of practice, I actually started moving in and using some different balls, trying to figure out which one was going to be the best today. And I feel like I did a pretty good job at breaking the lanes down the way that I wanted them to be broke down. Kyle, I talked to him a little bit after, and he said he's just been struggling a little bit, not really knowing where his hand is at the bottom right now, and just struggling with his ball roll at the current moment this week. So being able to force him to get left and get into a part of the lane that I had some success in this week was vital in my win today.
All right, EJ. Well, we will let you enjoy your break now. We'll see you on the lanes in a couple of hours. But thanks again for joining us here on Bolt TV, and excellent performance getting a win right out of the gates.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, that's EJ Tackett joining us here on Bold TV, winner against Kyle Troop, and the upsets continue as we are watching the final frame as Chris Martinez, the number 64 seed, the last player into the field, was up by 3 pins heading into this final game against top seed Gary Faulkner Jr. Neither player bowled particularly anything crazy out of the gates. 182, 179 for Martinez. Faulkner, 192, 166. All of them finding something here, but Martinez, that big run, strikes from the 4th to the 9th frame, and he is going to be moving on to the next round. All right, folks, that I believe that covers our featured pairs. Brian Robinson, 6'11 to 570, ahead of Steve Klemkin. Or winner against Steve. 547 to 537. And watch that finish between Toby Sambueno and Wes Malat. Toby with a win. Let's get some other scores here. 667 to 594. Hoope ahead of Russo. Ildemaro Ruiz, 640 to 611 win against Anthony Lavery Spar. 594 to 552 win for Kim Bolabai against Darren Tang. But right now we're joined by Anthony Simonson. Let's bring him in to the Bull TV broadcast. Simo, what's up, bud?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
We're doing well. Thanks for joining us here, and congratulations on an early win. Quite an interesting final game between you and Michael. Both of you bowled pretty well in the first 2 games, and then they got a little tricky, it seemed, in the third. Talk a little bit about the progression of that match.
Yeah, I originally was going to use urethane to start, and then for some reason we have 15 minutes of practice with 2 people bowling, which I think is kind of absurd. We don't need that much. I felt like he really tried to destroy the lane to the right to kind of be able to throw it at it, so that had to force me to change my game plan. Just because with the fronts hooking as much as he was going to make them, I didn't think urethane would be a very good option. I felt like I had a pretty good ball reaction. If it hit the pocket, it seemed to strike the first 2 games. Seems those first 2 games, my only couple of misses were splits. The last game, I felt my ball reaction getting a little funky on the left lane, and so I felt like I needed to make a change. Made a change and just kind of. Or actually, in the third frame, I didn't change, and then it's kind of was like, all right, no, you need to change for sure. That was the shot that let me go. I felt like, honestly, Mike was going to bowl a much bigger game that last game. As you said, the lane started to transition a little bit, and once I kind of saw that, I realized he was going to have to bowl really good the last couple of frames to put another double or triple up. So I kind of switched the mode to, instead of trying to throw a double, to fill frames and then see where it takes me.
All right, now Anthony, you have a couple hours to wait and get ready for the next match and get your mind set and ready for that. What do you do in that time to just keep everything clear and moving in the right direction? And at what point do you start getting ready and thinking about what's coming up next?
I probably go back to the room, change, go grab some Chick-fil-A with the roommate, and then see who the next opponent is and kind of get my game plan ready for that match.
Chick-fil-A, eh? What's the order there?
It's either a number 1 with no pickles or a 12-count nugget.
All right, good variety there. I like it. I mean, there's only so much variety because it's all chicken, but like having the different options there. So you talked about the Michael's game plan affecting yours and seeing that throughout practice. Talk about how versatile you have to be in those matches and staying on the same pair and having to be versatile in how you want to attack the lanes as well.
What we bowled, that makes game 18 a competition for me. That is the furthest left I've been the entire week. For the most part, everything's been, right of 11, 12. I feel like in the matches, you have to be so open-minded. Across in the house, you're following certain people, so you see certain things on pair to pair. But getting on the one pair and hunkering down, I just you got to really pay attention because we've all bowled enough where you have a pretty good ball reaction, and then all of a sudden you look clueless. Kind of like how me and Mikey were towards the back half of that game.
If you're ready to start planning, it looks like it's going to be Pontus Anderson coming up next for you this afternoon. So we'll see how that affects the game plan, knowing his style and his game, and I'm looking forward to seeing all that transpire.
Yeah, it should be a fun match. Pontus is a good friend of mine. So get a couple hours, get ready to hopefully throw some more strikes.
Anthony, we saw today we were a little worried about you. You weren't in the building until right before the match. I think Michael was maybe hoping he was going to get a bye. Was that the plan, or was?
No, I was in the building the whole time. I was in our little locker room, which you can't hear them making announcements. So
gotcha.
I didn't hear the announcements. They can keep my 25.
Well, maybe it might have helped you. So maybe for future matches, maybe you go hide and give people a false sense of hope that you're not going to show up for the match.
All right, Anthony. Well, we'll let you rest up for that next match coming up against Pontus in a couple hours. Thank you for joining us. Keep up the great bowling, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right, folks, there we have it. Round one. Let's see. I know we had one or two matches still going on. Michael Fitzgerald with a win over Michael Martell, officially in the books. Looks like just one match on the way low end. Todd Kiersey-Sipes and Michael Holloman. It looks like Holloman's going to sneak out a win here, according to the live scoring, but We'll wait for that to officially happen, but block one in the books. Right side of the winner's bracket coming up in, what do you say, JT, about 45 minutes?
That's what it looks like. Yes, noon. So we'll leave the stream going for you guys, and then we'll get underway here at noon local time. Another set of epic matches coming up here on Bull TV.
Absolutely, folks. And as we sign off, for, like I said, we're going to keep the stream running, keep the chat. So as players start to get to the pairs, you'll see that across all 8 channels. Definitely check that out. But we'll be back. Let's see, what actual time is that? 3 p.m. Eastern, noon local time for you guys out there in Reno. But before we sign off today, we're going to show you the 9th and 10th frame of Dale Coffey's 300 yesterday. So the only 300, a little extra excitement at the end of it as well. So we're going to say goodbye for right now, but we'll see you back for the right side of the winner's bracket in just about 45 minutes, folks. So for Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas, Matt Canzaro, I'm Aaron Smith. We'll see you back here at the Masters in just a little bit on Bull TV. Thanks again, everybody.
This is your 2-minute warning. You have 2 minutes remaining in your warm-up. Please hold up on your warm-up. Pin setters are beginning to cycle. No more deliveries at this time. If everyone can hold up on your warm-up, we can go in here. Just to note, the higher seed in the match has the choice of order in the match here. If you need to reverse arrows on the scoring monitor below, click on the menu in the upper right and then reverse arrows. If you need help, please let us know. All right, looks like the scoreboards are up, 10 pins are coming up. Finalists, good luck and good bowling.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV. We had a quick break here at the USBC Masters, but we are ready for the right side of the winners bracket. So all these players, this is their first opportunity in the 3-game total pinfall match. My name is Aaron Smith with Bowl TV. Going to bring in Matt Cannizzaro, who's joined me as well remotely from Texas. Matt, we had some pretty crazy matches. Obviously, an EJ Tackett, Kyle Troop all-star showdown to kick things off, but some upsets along the way as well. Surprised to see one of the big surprises, Chris Martinez, the last player in, knocking off Gary Faulkner Jr., who essentially was at the top of the leaderboard all week. So I think that talks to the craziness and essentially the refresh everyone gets heading into match play.
Absolutely. That's what this format is all about, right? The goal is to get in. It doesn't matter if you're number 1 or number 64, but at that point, based on the talent level at these major events, it doesn't matter. You're looking at 64 of the best players in the world. Maybe somebody had a bad day in qualifying and got a lower seed, and that's just how it worked out. But I think 64, pretty equally capable folks, and those kind of numerical upsets are going to happen. But I think some of those won't be surprises necessarily, just based on maybe performance this week alone. So we'll probably see more. That's all part of the excitement of the Masters. We had some excitement yesterday. Belmo, for example, here in our featured match, almost didn't make the cut. Had a very dramatic finish, got in there, and now looking to take advantage of that, finishing lower in the bracket than many would have expected. So we'll see how all of that transpires as things unfold today. This is the right side of the bracket, the very first round. And by the end of the day, of course, some folks will have been eliminated in this double elimination format. Others will be undefeated and in pretty good shape heading into day 2 of match play tomorrow.
On our featured matches here to kick things off, once again, you can follow 8 additional channels across the board to see some of the matches on the high end of the 78-lane bowling stadium. To your left, we have Brad Miller against Chris Vise, so a great matchup of young talent out on tour. And then Belmo versus Tim Foy, a battle of two-handers to your right. And we are going to bring in a gentleman who's on site at the – well, technically we got a couple of gentlemen on site at the NBS. So we'll start with Mike Flanagan. Michael, welcome back. Pretty crazy first round there, but we're ready for more excitement here in round 2.
Yeah, it always is, isn't it? It's always fun to see these head-to-head matches. You know, early in the morning, depends on how you wake up, how you come in, how you attack the pattern. And we saw some upsets. We saw some quick matches, but I'm looking forward to this side of the bracket. I was walking around, taking a look at how the players were approaching them, and it's so interesting to check out the strategy on all the different pairs of whether there's going to be urethane, there's going to be reactive balls, whether they're going to play in a little bit more in the track, or if they're going to try to play further to the outside part of the lane. The ball reps walking around, helping all the players out. You know, the ball reps, there were only so many ball reps allowed here. I talked to a couple of the companies. They may have brought more people if they would have been allowed, but there's only up to 3 per company. So, yeah, there's a lot of jockeying for positions out there on the lanes, and we got some superstars on this side of the bracket.
Speaking of superstars, we're going to bring in Jason Thomas as well from the NBS, making sure all the streams are up and running. JT, welcome in. Mike talked about the strategy, and we heard from Simo at the end of that block there, or the earlier block after his win against Michael Tang, about how the strategy of his opponent affected his strategy, and he had to think outside the box to essentially attack the pattern. So that's definitely one of the fun elements that the players have to keep an eye on as they attempt to maneuver and continue their way in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I had to, after watching that first set of matches, pick somebody who I think would be the favorite, I think it would certainly be EJ Tackett. He seems to have a really great game plan that's worked really all week. So I would look for him. Simo, obviously he might be the most creative person in the field other than this guy who we're watching here on 75 and 76, Jason Belmonte. I talked to him when he walked into his match, And I said, "Hey, you're here today." And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Hey, I thought after you threw that strike in the ninth last frame, you were in." And he said, I sort of thought so, but I also thought if I made that 210, I was locked. And he just was pretty laid back about it. So I think he's got a new lease on life coming into today, and he could be very, very dangerous. As everybody knows, he's a 4-time champion of this event, knows how to navigate his way through these matches.
So, guys, I'm going to admit something here, and it might be because I'm left-handed or because I'm just not that good at bowling, but I've been a bowling fan my entire life. I've been covering this event since 2005, and it was only a couple of years ago that it really clicked in my brain that the amount of strategy involved in these matches. Again, being left-handed, maybe that was the reason, but you really have to think through how you're going to attack the lanes, how your opponent is doing so. Often, some folks mention doing it, working together to open the lanes up and just put out an environment perhaps that will yield some higher scores. Bill O'Neill said it was the opposite. You just focus on what you have to do to get it done, and you don't even talk to the other guy. You just watch and you figure it out. So the amount of strategy and thinking and game plans that you have to have in A, B, and C, and just kind of base it off of what your opponent's doing. I found all that fascinating when it finally turned into more than just bowling. Almost like learning that in baseball, you're in the on-deck circle. You're trying to time the pitches, not just loosen up for your at-bat. So same idea. If I would have known all of these things 30 years ago, maybe I'm on the other side of the camera today.
Excellent stuff, Matt. We are cruising here. Once again, a 3-game total pinfall match to determine who stays alive in the winner's bracket or who has a much longer journey to the FS1 show on Sunday through the elimination bracket. The current matches available on BowlTV.com, moving down the line from 39 and 40 all the way up to these matches right here. This is the farthest right we go at the house. 75 and 76 is next to the end pair, so 77, 78, the final pair on the high end. But we got Christopher Sloan, who made the show in 2019, taking on Brandon Novak. That's on channel 39 through 42. We got Mike Sky, Storm and Norman Duke, taking on Justin Veach on 45 through 48. A fun one on 49 through 52. The lone PWBA Tour star to make the top 64, Maria Jose Rodriguez, taking on Chris Barnes. Great matchup right there. On 53 through 56, we have AJ Johnson taking on David Haynes. On 57 through 60, Jason Sterner, who is near the top of the leaderboard for most of the event so far through qualifying, taking on Cortez Schenk. DJ Archer against Dallas Leong on lanes 61 through 64. On 65 through 68, we have Cameron Crowe, the young standout, the 2020 U.S. Amateur Champion, taking on Sam Cooley, fresh off his first PBA Tour victory. And then the end of the matches here that are featured on BowlTV.com, we got Chris Vi against Brad Miller and Belmo against Tim Foy Jr.
Belmo out of the gate strong with that front 4, almost front 5 there. But it's really interesting to watch the way he's playing the lanes versus the way Chris Vi, another two-hander, who's had a lot of success recently, is playing the lanes. They're both throwing urethane. In fact, the same make and model bowling ball. But Belmo going right up 5, 6, 7, and Chris Vi a little bit deeper in the track, swinging it a little bit. And they both have very good ball reactions. Interesting that it's a testament to what Nick Hoagland was saying yesterday about the fact that really any angle plays, any type of ball choice, urethane, reactive, is just a matter of picking where you want to play and then making quality shots.
And Chris Vi has been strong on the fresh throughout the course of the block. It's as the pattern has broken down, it seemed that was when he saw his scoring pace start to go in the other direction, but it seemed like he got out of the gate strong in quite a few matches. Conversely, for Brad Miller, we watched him kick things off yesterday, trying to play very straight. He had an excellent foursome, and that's an excellent conversion right there. All 4 of the players ended up making it to the top 64, so not necessarily something that always happens out here at the Masters. But Brad was trying to play straight. He had AJ Chapman kind of a slight zone to the left of that, shaping urethane a little bit more. They had Martin Larson on that pair as well, using reactive closer to third arrow. And we saw Brad try to force the straight look for a little bit before he decided to bump in to those other guys, found a great look to kind of secure his spot in the early going, kind of loosen up that arm swing. But it looks like he's kind of done that here as well. So should be a good matchup if he's able to make some shots.
And I'll tell you, if you go back and look at the progression of Brad Miller's career, it's very, very impressive. And it's a testament to, hard work paying off. When he came out on tour, a number of years back, I mean, he really struggled. He really struggled to make cuts, to cash. And it really looked like, hey, this is a guy who's never really going to break through out here on tour. And now he's one of the top 20 players out here. And it's just really a nice testament to, the hard work that he's put in, the craftsmanship that he's learned how to play this game and build some different tricks, and also learned how to take advantage of opportunities when he sees something he likes out here on tour. And plus he's a great entertaining guy and has one of the biggest social followings in the sport.
Absolutely. I think in catching one of the videos earlier this week, the Brad and Kyle channel on YouTube, approaching 100,000 subscribers. So congratulations to them. A lot of great stuff. Always fun to watch that as Foy delivers the strike. He's going to find himself potentially in a bit of a hole after game one. Belmo with the front four, a couple spares, but for Tim, 3 opens up on the board. Just a max score of 199 at the moment, and Belmo certainly pacing well above that pace.
Guys, I got a little information about this bowling ball that Belmo is using. It's a pitch black. It's been in a rotation for him since 2018. It's been part of the arsenal. It's won about 6 majors on tour, according to Tim Mack. And this is the exact same pitch black that he won the TOC with on television. He's kept it in the repertoire of bowling balls. So this is a special ball to Belmo.
Excellent stuff, Mike.
That's really cool. I mean, in the day and age of reactive resin bowling balls, you don't see bowling balls staying in an arsenal for a week, let alone 3 years. So it's pretty cool that the nice thing about the urethane era coming back is that you actually can keep a ball in your bag for a long time.
That shot looked left off his left from the get-go, and fortunate just to have the 3-6 up there in the 8th. But in great shape to take the early lead. Taking a look around the house, a few of the pairs that are not covered. We'll start on the it looks like we're starting on 13 through 14. Nathan Bohr and Jacob Buttriff are defending champion. Nothing too crazy going on in that match so far. Nick Krummel off to a nice start on 31 and 32. He had the front 6. Now looking at a couple of single pin spares against Matthew Zweig. Thomas Larson, 5 out of the first 6 against Marshall Kent on 35 and 36. Quite a matchup on 43 and 44 between Jerry Mars and Chris Prather. Jerry Mars, who had the big final game yesterday, bowling on the late squad, on B squad, shot 248 the final game to make it into the cut. He was minus 90 heading into that game. He's going to have the game 1 lead against Chris Prather. Prather's still bowling well. He can get to 242, but Mars a chance to shoot 279 out of the gates.
Yeah, they had a really nice pair. All 4 guys on their pair made it into the top 64 bracket. Brad Miller also on that pair. I believe it was Wes Malott and Chris Sloan, if my memory serves me right.
That's correct, yep. The other guys were in good shape. They were in pretty soft, but yes, Jerry needed the big last game.
It's kind of an interesting a strategy here in the Belmonte Foy match. I mean, Tim's throwing urethane as well, just a little left of Belmo. Usually, when you are playing right of another player, that will favor you later in the match, right? Because the player to the right is giving the player to the left a little bit more room to throw to the right. Whereas with urethane, it's just the opposite. With urethane, you're carrying oil down, and so as this match goes on, the back ends are going to get tighter and tighter, and the fronts will start to hook just a touch more. And Belmo, the reason why he's been so great with urethane, especially in the Masters, is he's able, once the fronts start to hook a little bit and the back ends get tight, to move left and still get the ball to shape and go around that carry down and still get back. And he's just got such great touch with his ball speed and his axis rotation that and he's going to have to make a move now, because that was a good shot. And it hooked high. And I've said this before with urethane. When I made a good shot with urethane and a big forward, what would I do, Aaron?
You'd get excited, JT.
I would get excited. So I would expect to see Belmo to take a little step left here. He's going to have a chance in the 10th to look at it. He may throw one more shot where he is. And then once he gets a shot to line up, he's probably going to jump about 5 left with that urethane ball and slow it down with a little bit more axis rotation to get the ball around the corner.
Belmo a chance to get to 224 here for Tim. Max score of 179. So Belmo will have the advantage regardless. Chris By make it a double there in frame number 8. Brad Miller max score 212. Chris could still get into the 250s.
Great shot there. So he stayed on top of it. Now watch. Let's see if he makes a move here to get a look at that deeper inside angle. He stayed on top of it. You know, Belmo's so good that he sometimes doesn't even need to get a look at what his next move is going to be. And when he's bowling a head-to-head match, you know, that part of that is, you know, keeping the cards close to the vest and not letting his opponent know what his next move is going to be. So it's quite possible there that he thought maybe I could just get away with one more on this line I'm playing before I have to make the jump, just so I don't let my opponent know what's coming.
He's sneaky like that, isn't he?
Well, he's sneaky, but he's also so good that he can make the jump and not miss a frame. You know, he can make a big move and just pick up right there and start striking. So he sometimes doesn't need to get a read with another ball. And when you do get those reads, you are telling your opponent what your next move is going to be.
214, the final tally there. A big 278 to 240 matchup on 43 and 44. Jerry Mars ahead against Chris Prather. I know some folks in the chat asking about 43 and 44. And JT, I know we have some type of obstruction that made us skip that pair. Tell the folks a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's correct. There's a stairway that is directly behind that pair that prevents us from setting up any cameras because there's nothing to perch them on. So unfortunately, that one is out of play for us, and we go around it.
We do have live scoring available, and we will keep you updated on that match and as many matches as we can here across the building.
I've got
Yes.
more about that match, Aaron.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Tim Mack just came up and talked to me about it right up here in the Bull TV West studio booth. And he said, Jerry Mars pulled that big last game yesterday, and now he's bowling Prather. And Prather, in his opinion, is one of the top 3 looks in the building, according to Tim Mack. And he goes, this is just what happens in the Masters, buddy. And, you know, if you look at the last 2 games, Jerry Mars is bowled in this event, the 240 the last game and 278 this past game here. You know, that's well over 500 for 2 games. But Prather, I listened to these guys talk a little bit, and Prather goes, no big deal. No big deal. If I just keep making shots like this, I'll cruise. So, little insight on 43 and 44. Listen in on the conversations a little bit. And Prather started the second match with a double.
Taking a look around, 240s puts you top 5 in the house right now. So to be down by 30 plus at that moment, certainly unexpected, but great performance by Jerry Mars, and obviously riding the wave from that big finish yesterday.
The Justin Veach Norm Duke match is incredibly low scoring here in game number 1. Norm Duke has 2 strikes through 9 frames. Veach as well. And a bunch of opens on the board. Tim Mack also told me earlier in the week when we were talking here on Bull TV that he thought Thomas Larson would be a player to watch this week, and he opens up with 247 in his first game, opening up a lead over Marshall Kent, who just bowled 180.
Another high-scoring affair. Nick Crummell against Matthew Zweig. Crummell up 247 to 233 after game 1.
And Belmo is making that move, guys. You can see he's jumped in about a zone. Got that one in, but he's jumped left just like I said he would, and got a nice break there from Tim Foy with an open frame in the 10th there, so has a big 67 pin lead going into game 2.
Yeah, JT, I think you're 100% on it. I would anticipate seeing Belmo moving left most of this match here.
Belmo starting this game up 67 pins after the 147 from Tim.
You know, the nice thing about that for Belmo is, it gives him a little bit of flexibility in being able to play around. You know, we talked about that in the qualifying rounds, where some of the players who get ahead of the number have the luxury of exploring some different parts of the lane. So, if Tim continues to struggle, Jason's going to have some time to play some different parts of the lane. And I'm sure he's watching pretty closely what Chris Vi is doing just to the left of him. Chris Vi with 223 that first game, throwing urethane from a zone and a half left of where Belmo's playing.
And from a mental capacity here, what a lot of these players like to do, like Brad Miller here, who's down 50 pins, roughly 50 pins, you don't try to make that up in one game. It's one frame at a time, of course, one shot at a time, but you try to make up about half the deficit in this game number 2.
Taking a look at some scores of some matches here. We talked about the Crummell-Zweig match, 247 to 233 after 1. Sam Cooley up 244 to 234 after 1 against Cameron Crowe. And then you mentioned it on 47 and 48, Mike. If you told Norm Duke he shot 144 the first game and was only down 10 pins, I don't think he'd believe us, but that's the case. Justin Veach ahead of Norm, 154 to 144. That's the Masters, baby.
Prater starts the second game on the front 4, by the way. He's and he has, every shot he is pured. He's a little fired up at Jerry Mars right now. Back to you, JT.
No, I was going to say the same exact thing, Mike. It's he's making it look like league over here on 43 and 44.
For Jerry, back-to-back opens in the second and the third. So that advantage from the big 278 in game one has quickly gone away.
I'm actually going to grab my tripod and record the rest of this game over here on 43 and 44 from an angle, because it wouldn't shock me if Prather just fires the rest of them. He's throwing it that good.
I like it. The confidence early. Go get it, Michael. The other scores on our featured pairs: Brandon Novak up 217 to 185 on Chris Sloan. As we mentioned, Justin Veach 154 to 144 over Norm Duke. Chris Barnes 185 to 176 ahead of Maria Jose Rodriguez. AJ Johnson 198 to 172 advantage over David Haynes. Cortez Schenk 233 to 200 ahead of Jason Sterner. Dallas Leong 213 to 195 lead over DJ Archer. Sam Cooley 244 to 234 ahead of Cameron Crowe. And here on our featured pairs at the moment, Belmo up 214 to 147 against Tim Foy Jr. And Chris Fye up 223 to 178.
Belmo has made a jump left, and it's interesting because if you're watching Chris Fye just to his left, he's another zone left of where Belmo's playing. And, Belmo just made a little bump left, and now he's hitting carry down. When he gets it right like that, he's hitting his carry down from the first game. So he's either going to have to stay where he is and soften up a little bit to try to get the ball around the corner, or he's going to have to make another jump to the left, which will still put him in danger of hitting that carry down lane. So little opportunity for Tim Foy here, but somebody's got to figure out how to get that ball back from the carry down zone that they've created for themselves by throwing urethane up the outside part of the lane for 15 minutes of practice and then a game and a half. And Tim Foy may have found something there with a kind of a weaker reactive ball. It's got right on the edge of where that carry down is, and he was able to get the ball to come back and hit the pocket 2 times in a row. Let's see what Belmo does. Belmo does the same thing. He goes to a weak reactive ball. And that one certainly got back. But I think he'll like that ball reaction. I think he's going to make a little bit of an adjustment left.
Norm Dukes almost got his last game beat already through 4 frames. Front 4 for Norm.
You can see Belmo creeping even further left. That would never had a chance.
Yeah, and this frame by frame, picture in picture, you guys are so magnificently built here on Bull TV. You know, we really almost got to see two-handers, just a pair away from each other, essentially. Both go light as they're moving towards the inside part of the lane. Vi leaving the 2-pin and Belmo missing the head pin.
Well, this is going to be an ugly match here on 75 and 76. They've the way they've broken them down has made them much harder.
68 in the 5th for Belmo, so a humongous opportunity for Tim here to start clawing away at that deficit. Working on a strike. And he's going to take a minute, and that's okay. We'll watch Brad Miller, who's also looking to make a little run here. Early double in game 2. And the business for 3 in a row.
Yeah, they are awfully tough on 75 and 6. I mean, just think about a picture in your mind of now, in addition to all the volume you have in the front part of the lane, and then the further you move left, the more it hooks. Now think there's this puddle of oil even further down that if you get left of third arrow and throw it to the right, the ball's going to hit that and then hook and then go straight forever. But there's also no dry to the right of it that you can use that carry down as hold. So they are awfully tricky on 75 and 76 right now.
So what you're saying is that they added a speed bump to the speed bump that was already there for multiple speed bumps.
Exactly.
Fun.
Yeah. And, it may have been a conscious decision by Belmo. He may have said, hey, if I get him like this, I'm going to have the advantage because, I think I'm more versatile than Tim Foy is. But, he's also struggling now to kind of figure out what to do now that they're set up this way.
Norm Duke update, front 6.
Prather had a split in frame 6, but 7 out of 8 for him. So
yeah, it was a blower 710 right when I turned the camera on. I was trying to ignore that.
And Belmo decides, I'm just going to get away from the carry down completely and move into 5th arrow. And he still hit the carry down. Great conversion. But as I said, the fact that Belmo had a 67-pin lead after that first game, it's given him the flexibility to try a bunch of different things. He doesn't have to try to grind out 190 to stay ahead in this match. Tim Foy's not putting the pressure on him. He's not lined up. So Belmo, has the luxury of being able to play some different parts of the lane and try some things.
Speaking of changing things up, it looks like Chris Vi made a ball change there. Going to that bright green high road as one of the few very visible bowling balls from far away.
And we have seen Belmo just in this game throw urethane up 5, urethane from 3rd arrow, reactive from 4th arrow, reactive from 5th arrow, and then now just there reactive from 4th arrow again. All in the span of 7 frames.
he is getting his experience worth here in this game. Taking a look around the house, Thomas Larson, Mike mentioned him, 247 in the first game. Spare six-bagger in his matchup against Marshall Kent. So Thomas might be looking at a big number after 2. Jacob Buttriff, our defending champion, taking on Nathan Bohr. Both players a little slow out of the gate, but Jacob really struggling, can max out 158 this game. He'd be at 347. A chance for Nathan to strike out to get to 433. So our defending champion may be heading to the elimination bracket here in the early going.
Norm's string is over. He made a bad shot inside a target, left a 610, so he can now max for 278. Looking to go up against Veach in game number 2.
Big double there for Foy. He's made up about 40 pins so far. $179 in game 2 for Jerry Mars, so he's at 457, but Chris Prather can still shoot 266 this game as Foy makes it 3 in a row. Brandon Novak's going to get out to a big lead against Chris Sloan here. Sloan, 5 opens so far this game, can max out 150.
Well, this match just got a little interesting. Tim Foy throwing up turkey, and he's going to force Belmo to get his stuff together.
It looked like Belmo tried to go a little more direct there, and it's we've seen it either go out the window or cross over or go through the face. It seems like his wiggle room at the moment now is minimal.
Yeah, I think he's watching Tim Foy and he's saying, okay, I think Tim Foy might have figured something out here. I'm going to try to duplicate what he's doing. And so it looked like he moved right on top of where Tim's playing. But it felt like to me, Tim's going a little bit more into out late with a weaker ball, and Belmo, that ball just picked up a little too soon. So I think he's going to another ball here that's going to give him a little bit more of a hockey stick shape, but on the same line. Yeah, definitely. And that one just never hooked. They're ugly.
This craziness. Chris Prather up 485 to 457 after 245 in game 2 against Jerry Mars.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of strikes here in front of us, but the match we're watching here on screen, Belmo has gone the whole game without a single strike.
Nathan Bohr up 422 to 337 over Jacob Buttriff, our defending champion. Brandon Novak's going to be up more than 100, 432 to 323 against Christopher Sloan.
And Norm Duke is going to bounce back from that 144 with a 278. With one more strike.
I liked him slowing it down here for a second. I don't know if he didn't like the rack or just wanted a second to capitalize on what's going on right here. This is After 147 in the opener, against arguably the greatest player on the planet, he's getting the opportunity to get back into this match and could completely flip the script in just one game.
Yeah, my guess is he didn't like the rack because, there's no reason at this point to slow the match down. He's got it going in his favor. And that was another sweet shot there. But you see, Belmo just tried to jump right on top of where Tim is playing because, Tim's appeared to have found something.
Unrelated notes. Norm Duke has just gone back-to-back games of 144 and 273. I'm going to bet he's never done that in his career before.
Certainly a good way to bounce back from 140. But the match still Justin Veitch bowling a nice game here. He's still going to be within 40 pins or so.
Oh, 410 for Tim.
That's a huge break for Belmo. That basically allows Belmo to experiment in the 10th with a little bit less pressure. Let's see what he does if he tries to throw that same ball and maybe just soften up a touch, or try something completely different. It looks like he's moved back to the right. Boy, he really has nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Thomas Larson is going to have a 100-plus pin advantage against Marshall Kent on 35 and 36. Potential 258 still out there this game. It's going to be right around 500 after 2.
I wonder how many times in Jason Belmonte's career he's gone an entire game without throwing a strike.
He's still got the fill ball here. It always strikes, doesn't it?
Well, it looks like he's going to jump left again. Same ball. And try to play off that Brooklyn shot he just threw. Jumps way left. Hey, got a strike. Tight match, 14 pins. 1 to go.
.376 to .362. Thomas Larson making the turn at 5:03. Here to our left. About a 45 pin difference between Vi and Miller. Chris having the advantage after game 1. With that spare max of 181 now for Chris. Brad can still get to 234 this game, so another opportunity for a tight match heading into game number 3. some additional updates on our featured pairs. AJ Johnson up 452 to 372 on David Haynes. Chris Barnes up 423 to 379 against Maria Jose Rodriguez. Norm Duke 417. There we go. To 370 ahead of Justin Veitch. Brandon Novak 432 to 323 against Chris Sloan. Belmo up 376 to 362 to our right. Chris Vi with that 181 is in the books at 404 for 2.
Well, Belmo is working it out in his head. Educated guess here. Guessed right.
That looked pretty good. We saw that with Toby Sambueno when we went to the end of that match when he was taking on Wes Malott. He was that was the farthest left I've seen anybody this week. So
yeah, and he was kind of almost playing fallback. I mean, he wasn't really throwing it to the right. And we've seen EJ get way left, but he's not playing fallback.
I went down to 75 and 76, guys, and just kind of eavesdropped a little bit on Sean Ryan and Belmo's conversation. And I won't necessarily share here what they said, as that's private and confidential, but confusion for sure. And Belmo did not like where he was on the lane and was talking about making a big jump. So it looks like what we've seen here.
Well, the good news for him is, Tim Foy was able to kind of cobble something together from outside, but that does not look like a great part of the lane to be in. And he bowled well enough to figure something out to kind of fool Belmo into thinking there was something out there. But Belmo has basically decided there's nothing there, and I'm just going to jump left of all that mess that we created for ourselves in games 1 and 2.
234 for Brad Miller. He's going to have an 8-pin advantage over Chris Vi heading into game 3. A tie through 2 between DJ Archer and Dallas Leong, 395 apiece for them.
Couple of interesting matches right here in front of us on Bowl TV. This Vi looks like he's found something. And now Belmo, let's see if he can make a little adjustment off of that 2-pin he left in the first frame. Just got a little softer with it. And wow. Well, it was the right adjustment.
Packy up 401 to 396 against Martin Larson as they head into game 3.
Here comes Brad Miller. This one's going to go down to the stretch, I think. Brad Miller, Chris Vi both lined up, you're both playing about a similar line. Both really, really solid players. I would expect that match to go all the way down to the 10th frame.
Let's go.
Well, that was a pretty good shot there from Belmo, but if he gets it going right a little too early, it's going to hit that speed bump that they've created. Another great shot from Brad Miller there. Belmo is just going to try to keep it in play and hope Tim Foy isn't able to figure out a way to string some strikes.
Some additional updates on our featured pairs. Sam Cooley up 451 to 438 against Cameron Crowe. And Cortez Schenk up 477 to 438 against Jason Sterner.
Four perfect shots there in the Brad Miller match here in game number 3.
Miller up by 8.
Catches a double. Great shot there. You really can't overstate how well he is bowling, from a very difficult part of the lane right now to get himself back in this match against Jason Belmonte. Another great shot there for Chris Fye, and a big shot here coming up for Tim Foy Jr. Can put some real pressure on Jason Belmonte with another strike. It's got to hold.
AJ Chapman going to be up against Kyle Sherman heading into game number 3. They are still wrapping up game number 2, so that's as the slow pair in the house right now.
Bad pitch there from Brad Miller. Jason Belmonte coming off a solid 7 on this lane, his last shot. Another good one there. Perfect.
Let's go. Shaping up for some doozies here, JT.
Yeah, it's going to come all the way down to the end, but Belmo trying to that's the worst break in bowling right there, sending the head pin around the 10 pin. Aaron Smith, one thing I like about string pins is that when you do that on a string pin, the string knocks down the 10 pin. It neutralizes the worst bad break in bowling.
Interesting.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
How about that double?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Early fist pump.
Well, he made a great move there. He was kind of fishing around and got close, and it's there's only so much time you can give Belmo before he's going to figure out the right adjustment to make. And that fist pump was that's a good break there from Tim Foy, a great bounce back. But that fist pump was more about letting Tim Foy know that I've figured out this pair. So you better start striking, buddy. It wasn't as much about that strike as it was about sending a message that I've figured this pair out.
Talk about that, man. It's just been a journey watching that eventually get to that point. Essentially, nearly after having a pretty good look outside in game 1, and then just the wackiness of game 2, and just everything that had to try, and different looks, different bowling balls, for all of it to come together in that moment. Man, that's a laboring task.
It is, but you know what? You remember watching Jason Belmonte come down the stretch yesterday. He never fist pumped once.
No.
Right? He doesn't do it spontaneously. There is a reason why he fist pumped there, and it was to send a message to his opponent. Nice response there from Tim Foy.
Absolutely. Let's go. Jerry Mars is going to have the opportunity to throw. I think he needs the first strike in the 10th for a chance to knock off Chris Prather here in the opening round.
This just got a lot of fun, guys.
That was stone cold right there.
But he fist pumped because he knows he's got this pair figured out now, and now he's going to make Tim Foy think about it.
We have our first match, although final score not in the books, but Jacob Buttriff, the defending champion, will be heading to the elimination bracket. Nathan Bohr has already accumulated enough pins to win their matchup.
Brad Miller with the response to the throwing it out the window, just grabbed it, and now he's in a world of trouble with Chris Vide dead lined up and throwing the front 5 here in game number 3.
So we talked about the 750, 550 talk. If I had a nickel for every time someone mentioned it this week, we'd have a lot of nickels. But we just, Nathan Bohr is going to win his match with 611. Chris Prather just shot 694. He may not win.
I don't know what's happening down here. It looks like there's some issue with the rack, but I know Jason Belmonte. He's lined up. He knows he's going to strike. He knows what he has to do. Look at him. He's looking at the other lane. He's icing Tim Foy Jr. right now. It's absolutely what he's doing. Unless there's a ball return here, but even if there was, he knows he's going to get up here and strike in the 8th.
Another quick update. AJ Johnson is going to take the opening round victory against David Haynes over there on 55 and 56.
There was a ball return. There was a ball return there. But it certainly didn't bother Jason Belmonte that he had to wait.
Brandon Novak's going to get the win against Chris Sloan, and Jerry Mars unable to strike on his first shot, so Chris Prather is going to escape with a narrow victory. Could be 694 to 689 if Jerry strikes on the fill, so he needed that first hit in the 10th. Unable to get it.
We're going to see a big fist pump here if Belmo strikes.
Oh.
That's just cold. What a great match. I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly for a while, but man, it's just turned into such a great match. And that's what I love so much about the Masters.
Tim's got to keep responding here.
Good shot. Oh gosh, are you kidding me? What a terrible break. He could not have thrown it any better than that. Wow. What a great shot. After having to wait for the ball return and then Belmo going up and just throwing an ice cold strike in the 8th, Tim Foy gets up and aces one in the 8th frame and just leaves the nastiest stone 9 you'll ever see.
He can get to 226 now with the last 4.
Yeah, Belmo's already in the 220, so good break there. But Belmo will just need to stay clean in one of the 2 frames, and he'll wrap up this match. What a bad break, Aaron Smith.
Crazy. Absolutely, positively crazy.
But, Belmo is so great at winning these grind out matches. He's just been so good at finding a way to win these matches. And you could just tell, you could just see how tricky this pair is. But he was able to bear down, for 8 great frames and lock this match up.
Norm Duke going to collect the win against Justin Veitch. Just a matter of final score. Chris Vi looking on his way here. 6-bagger against Brad Miller. Was down 8.
Great spare.
Thomas Larson to win with 738. So you heard it earlier from Timmy Mack, from Michael Flanagan about Thomas Larson could be dangerous out here, and big statement early on.
Belmo just needs good count on this first ball, and he will move on in the winner's bracket. Oh,
that is not good count there, JT.
Wow. Now, if he misses this, Tim Foy's going to have a chance to get up and steal this match.
Holy cow. Four of them would be 211.
Uh-oh. Wow. So Belmo, 209. That means he finishes up with 585. Tim Foy can go off the sheet for 226. That would put him at 588. So 2 strikes and 8 pins. And Tim Foy can steal this match right out from under Jason Belmonte.
What an incredible swing right there from the stuff 9. To just needing good count to now actually having a shot here to double in the 10th. What a roller coaster.
It's a good shot.
2. Oh, Timothy.
Cannot throw it any better than that.
Wow.
One more and 8. And what a shocking finish this would be.
Wow.
Now Tim Foy taking a re-rack to kind of settle himself. He's hit the pocket the last few shots on this lane, so he's lined up. He knows what he needs to do. All it is at this point is just going to come down to execution and will they fall.
This felt like about 6 different games in one over the past 2 games. This has just been so up and down. It's been crazy. Even going back to game 1, Tim 147 out of the gates.
It's just a classic Masters matchup. I mean, it's just why this is such a great event. Here we are, 1 strike here and 8 pins, and Tim Foy will stay alive in the winner's bracket. Taking a lot of time.
Oh,
wow.
Tim is making sure everything ready to go for this moment. Chris Barnes, 626 to 572 victory over Maria Jose Rodriguez. Tim Foy, must strike situation. Got to have it.
Oh, great shot. Wow. What a finish. Still not over yet. He still needs 8. But man, I can't tell you what a great performance this is. Being able to shoot this big a game, playing the part of the lane that he's trying to play. They're just so nasty right there. What a time for a ball return.
Indeed, JT. Very inopportune.
We saw it earlier in the game where Jason Belmonte had to wait for a ball return. Now Tim Foy has to wait for the ball to come back, get up, and throw an 8-pin count or better to pull off one of the more amazing comeback wins you'll see.
It's an unbelievable icing at the moment right now from the NBS. There's the ball. I just saw it come back. Chris Vi is going to get the win. Eight pins for a 1-pin victory. Down 214 to 147 after game 1.
This is like the end of the UCLA-Michigan game. The longest 10th frame ever.
Eight pins to advance. Tim Foy Jr. One more.
What a
Wow.
fantastic comeback. Unbelievable. What a great match.
588 to 585. Tim Foy Jr. sending Jason Belmonte to the elimination bracket after a 5-2 in the 10th frame from Belmonte. Just needing good count on his first shot to give Tim Foy the opportunity. 3 in the 10th. I'm exhausted, JT. That was.
I'm shocked. I can't believe it. I mean, we saw yesterday. He needed probably a mark to guarantee his spot in the finals. He goes up and leaks one a little right, leaves a 210, leaves an open, then has to sweat it out all day. Looks like he's going to advance easily here in the opening round. Tim Foy kind of figures something out, and Belmo makes a huge error in the 10th to give Tim Foy a chance. And Tim Foy steps through the door with 3 clutch shots in the 10th, about as good as shots as you'll ever see. And wow, what a shocking opening round here at the Masters.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I'm going to get Tim Foy in here for an interview, Aaron, but I will be back shortly.
All right, we're going to go ahead to the DJ Archer and Dallas Leong match. So they were tied heading into this game here. So we're going to head over there real quick, folks. DJ taking a re-rack. Dallas in the books at 201. So DJ could go 9 spare strike for 202. Strike and 9 on 2 shots. So he took the re-rack. We have Tim Foy with us. We'll get to him as soon as we wrap up this match. DJ Archer gets the first strike. He'll need 9 in his next 2 shots to secure a narrow victory over Dallas Leong. They were tied at 395 apiece after 2 games. Dallas with 8 on the fill. And that 2-pin will be enough. So DJ Archer is going to sneak out a victory here against Dallas Leong. Moving on to the next round in the winner's bracket. We're going to bring JT back into it, and the man of the hour at the moment, Tim Foy Jr. Tim, congratulations. What a matchup.
Thank you.
You had there with Belmo, just crazy back and forth. You started with 147, fought your way back to the opportunity to throw all 3 in the 10th. Just talk about the journey of that match.
Well, you never want to shoot 140 against the world's best. I mean, he's not bowling the greatest right now, but nonetheless, he's still the greatest right now. So you can't ever take that into consideration. So shooting 140, and he only shot 2-teen, but his ball reaction, I mean, we did a terrible job with that pair. I mean, god-awful job. But I was fortunate enough to throw a couple. The ball was kind of helped me out. We got me into a out of urethane, which is what I've thrown all week. We actually drilled a 2-inch pin incognito to kind of stay on top of urethane when the urethane's all too soon, which is what had happened. And I was able to shoot 2-teen. I didn't throw a great shot in the 10th of the second frame of the second game, the 4-10. I really thought I could have just 4-pinned on it, but I mean, it is what it is. But Belmo didn't strike at all. So I managed to go from 60 to 14 down, which if you say you're down 60 plus against Belmo and you're only down 14 the next game, you take it.
Absolutely.
That's just a hit. And then we were going back and forth that last game, and I stoned an awful 9-pin in the 8th. And honestly, I thought it took me out of I thought it was over. I was kind of down on myself in the 9th, which I know better, and I actually did it awful, and I crossed over, so it was kind of like it gave it back to me. And then Belmo did a pretty good, he 2-8'd in the 9th, and then looking at the score, he just needed a mark. I mean, you expect him to mark. I know I did. I thought it was over. I'm never going to bet against him because you're going to lose. He got it wide. He was throwing it slow. He got it right, and it just never hooked. He washed out, and I knew I needed a 8-8 to go around him, and I threw 3 of the best shots I've thrown probably all week when I needed them. Luckily, I was nervous beyond. I was nervous on TV. I'm pretty sure I was more nervous today than I ever was on TV. So.
It was something else to watch, and he even got iced by the ball return there. So that added on to that excitement. But just a tremendous bounce back there. I know JT's got a question or two for you as well.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting that you ended up staying out to the right, and it looked like Belmo even tried to replicate what you were doing, but really had nothing there. But then when he jumped left and he threw that double and gave it the fist pump, did you feel like he was lined up and you needed to bear down and find a way to strike the rest of the game?
I mean, anytime he doubles, you just assume, because they were both pretty contested strikes. So yeah, I assumed he was lined up. It's Belmo, so you don't ever assume he's not going to be lined up, especially when we stayed on the pair. But I knew from inside that the look wasn't the greatest. His ball reaction there wasn't the great in practice, and we didn't do a good job on the pair at all. I mean, you could look at our scores; they weren't high. But I mean, it is Belmo. So when he doubles and he did that, I was like, yeah, I need to keep my foot on the gas because he's going to do it too. So I knew if I got a chance, that's all I wanted was a chance. And even if he didn't give me the chance, I mean, you're bowling Belmo. When you lose to Belmo, you can't be upset by it. I mean, it wasn't a cakewalk. Even if he did spare in the 10th, he still would have had to get there. So I just wanted to, even if I did lose, I just wanted it to not be easy for him. So, and I got the break I wanted. I got the chance, and luckily, I was able to walk through the door.
Yeah, we agree with you that you did a terrible job of breaking that pair down.
It was awful.
We saw it coming. But what was it that allowed you to? What was the move that allowed you to get the ball around the corner with all that carry down that you guys created for yourself?
So I think it was the asim of the ball. I think we drilled a bigger asim with a 2-inch pin to kind of stay on top of the urethane, but to get it that little kick where urethane kind of just wants to burn up in the front part. This one wanted to get through a little bit and see that little friction before we got to the hang spot down lane. And actually that right lane, there was actually a little hook to the right. I threw one that I got a little right, little fast, and it just came high. It went high strike. I was like, ooh, that kind of opened my eyes up. So I knew I just had to get to right. I didn't want to get up the lane. I knew if I missed 1 or 2 right, there was a very good chance it was going to come back. I could have plaqued 10, but it would have been a hit that could have got there. So, I mean, I definitely finished on the better of the 2 lanes, but it was definitely the ASIM because we drilled it and we assumed that when match play come, I mean, my look with the urethane was really good. So I just assumed Belmo was going to try to take it out. I don't know if he did. I didn't ask him. I just assumed he probably was going to try. Because, I mean, in a one-on-one match like that, you want to make your opponent play your game and not play your opponent's game. And Belmo's very good at that. So I don't want to play Belmo's game against Belmo. So I want to try to play my game.
Well, Tim, go ahead, Matt.
So now, Tim, you've had some opportunities come your way in 2021, of course, first the TV show and now this win against Belmo. How do you get the heart rate down? How do you calm down? How do you put this behind you and carry that momentum forward? Because it's a huge moment, obviously, as you said, a lot of nerves, a lot of things happening probably in your head and in your heart right now. But how do you settle down and keep this going forward for more success here at the Masters?
So the heart rate's going to be up. It's starting to come down a little bit now. Probably in the next 20 minutes, it'll really come down. I'm just going to go back to my normal routine, throw some headphones on, listen to music. I'm going to go grab a quick bite to eat since we bowl at 3, talk to the ball reps, kind of laugh and giggle with the guys around, have a good time, try to bring myself back to reality because that match is over. Now it's time to, I think, a bowl either Brad or Chris.
Yeah, you got Chris the next round. So
rematch of TV. I like the odds of him not shooting 300 this time. I'll take the under on that one.
All right, Tim. Well, we'll let you rest up for that matchup in a couple hours. But fantastic bowling, great show for the folks on Bowl TV, and you're moving on to the next round here at the Masters.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Tim. Thank you.
All right, there we have it. We are in the books, round number 1. We know our 32 winners. We have 32 players in the elimination bracket. Some upsets along the way. Some big names have a long way to go if they want to make it to FS1 on Sunday. Just some craziness across the house at the NBS, and it's been super fun to watch it unfold so far.
Guys, was I right? Is the Masters now your favorite tournament?
It's I never argued with the fact, but yes, it is something else. It is. Love that aspect. Just love seeing it come down in those situations, and folks have an ability to come back like that. It's it's just so crazy, and to see those matches, just I'm so crazy. We just talked to Tim instead of Belmo. I'm still trying to figure that part out, but it's the Masters, baby. That's what it is.
And guess what? We just got started. We've just got started. There's still 57 matches left to go.
It's a rough estimate, yes. All right, folks. Our hardworking folks at Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider this week, are going to re-oil the lanes here at the NBS to get ready for the next rounds. The winners will be back on the lanes at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 local time in Reno. So we're about a little less than 3 hours to the next round, so everyone's going to get the opportunity to rest up, get some lunch. We plan to do that as well. So we will be coming back to you here on Bowl TV. It's going to be exciting couple rounds left. We still have some giveaways to do as well. We got 2 Ultimate Ears speakers up for grabs for the good folks watching. So we appreciate everyone joining us. Of course, Mike Flanagan doing all the hard work on site as well with some extra video stuff for social media. Kim Richter on social, Caitlin Nelson, JT, you've been holding down the fort there. Maddie with the stories, with the recaps, doing big things. We got another one coming up tonight on bowl.com. I'm Aaron Smith. Thanks again for joining us here, folks. We'll be back at the USBC Masters for continued coverage of the match play bracket coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern. We look forward to seeing you in just a couple hours. Wow. What an opening start to this. It's only going to get better. Folks, we're signing off. That's the news for now. That's what Matt says. But remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. I don't even know what I'm doing. It's just been so crazy. This is what we like. All right, folks, we're coming back. We'll see you soon on Bowl TV.